Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to see how leveraging Atlassian Cloud solutions can drive innovation and share success stories with you. Now I'll introduce our expert panel. We have Caroline. She leads our digital operations practice at Modus Create, overseeing a team of Atlassian Cloud experts. Gordon is a senior solutions engineer at Atlassian, and we are very lucky to have him with us today. And last but not least, we have Mike. He works with Caroline as a distinguished Atlassian consultant at Modus Create. So you may wonder why Modus and Atlassian are hosting a webinar together today. I'll turn it over to Caroline to explain everything.
Thanks, Manon. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the relationship between Modus Create and Atlassian. We are an Atlassian Enterprise Platinum Solution Partner, and we demonstrate this through our top-tier expertise from around the world. This has been recognized by Atlassian by way of 2 consecutive years of being named Atlassian Partner of the Year. Lastly, we specialize in Atlassian Cloud. We're a cloud-first organization, and we encourage all of our customers to seriously consider what cloud has to offer for their organization. Today, we're going to start by talking about the benefits of a connected enterprise and why that might matter to you. Next, our distinguished consultant, Mike Rathwell, is going to share a couple of cloud adoption success stories for customers that he has personally worked with. He's also going to speak to effective cloud adoption strategies and how they could help your organization. Then we'll hear from Atlassian directly about the tools they're building to make the most out of cloud. And then we'll wrap up with how Modus Create believes that you can leverage cloud for your business needs. Before we get started, we're going to launch a poll to understand what your 2024 priorities are. Let us know if it's Gen AI, modernizing customer-facing products or outdated infrastructure, creating new products, or migrating applications to the cloud. We'll give you just another minute to put in your votes. I'm very curious to see what the results are on this. Okay, so there's quite a spread. It looks like about half of you are looking at modernizing existing customer-facing products. Another half of you are looking to migrate applications to the cloud, with everything else coming in about the same amount. So that's an interesting spread of information. We've actually gathered data on the key initiatives that businesses like yours are focusing on for 2024. The graph before you highlights the areas where significant percentages of companies are investing their efforts based on the number of employees. These are areas where Atlassian Cloud offers powerful solutions. For example, a significant number of businesses are investing in generative AI and machine learning algorithms to stay ahead. Atlassian Cloud offers Atlassian Intelligence to leverage your own data with the power of AI. Modernizing an existing customer-facing application is also a priority for many, and we saw that in our own poll today. Here, Atlassian Cloud's Jira Service Management Portal and Confluence can transform customer interactions and provide you a sophisticated yet user-friendly experience. And importantly, as organizations of all sizes are moving towards cloud infrastructure, Atlassian provides robust migration tools designed to make this transition as efficient as possible. These initiatives reflect a drive towards innovation and operational agility. As we move forward, we're going to see how these strategic initiatives play into building a strong digital core and form a connected enterprise with Atlassian Cloud. Building on the initiatives that you're focused on for 2024, it's clear that having robust tech foundations is more critical than ever. It's the strong base that allows your business to embrace new technologies like AI swiftly and seamlessly. The next step is ensuring that our teams and tools are perfectly aligned. When everyone works together using tools that connect seamlessly, efficiency skyrockets. Tasks that used to take hours now take minutes, freeing up your team to innovate and grow. And lastly, it's about pulling together in the same direction. A unified strategy across your business means less time fixing internal issues and more time pushing towards your goals. The unity is the essence of a connected enterprise, and it's key to thriving in today's fast-moving business environment. With a strategy that leverages the cloud, every step you take is a step towards a more resilient, agile, and successful future. So, some statistics. 75% of Fortune 100 companies have integrated the Atlassian suite into their daily operations. This strong adoption by leading enterprises shows the trust and reliability that Atlassian has earned over the years. The Atlassian platform is the backbone of a connected enterprise. It brings together teams, tools, and data in a single cloud platform for streamlined collaboration and decision-making. The focus is on making teamwork more effective and giving you visibility into how daily activities drive your business goals. Secure, reliable, and built for the enterprise, this is not just a platform, it's a transformation of how you work, setting you up for measurable success. So today, we want to talk about how we're going to help you accomplish this vision of a connected enterprise and why getting your teams on cloud is a critical first step on that journey. But we know that these are challenging operating conditions, and you need to evaluate the ROI of every investment. So before I go any further, I want to ask you a question. When is the last time you tried cloud? Was it this year? Over a year ago? Maybe never. Let us know. All right. So 76% of you have been looking at cloud this year, and the rest of you have looked at it in the last year. That's amazing to see that sort of progress and see that you're actually exploring the cloud. So I'm really excited to see that. And we're seeing a lot of our customers also exploring the cloud and the opportunities that Atlassian's cloud has to offer. So now I'm going to hand it over to Mike, who's going to talk to you about some customer success stories. Mike, can you unmute?
You know, I had my mouse hovering over that button. Thanks, Caroline. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how both Zealous and Roblox did drive and continue to drive transformation and information and innovation on the platform. These two are a bit special to me. As Caroline mentioned, I was one of the leaders on these efforts, and I have an engineer's satisfaction on the elegance, if you will, of how their daily work smoothed out and evolved and matured as time went on. And just as Caroline said, see things that were painful to do become simple, fast, and easy. So when we look at Zealous, this is a big healthcare company, or healthcare adjacent, I guess, but they're healthcare industry. They're moving from Atlassian, Jira, and Confluence Data Center to Atlassian Cloud. And with that, they're able to roll several single-purpose type applications into the unified tool stack to work tightly with what already exists with the JSW and Jira software and Confluence data. As an example, this would be rolling out of PagerDuty, which is does the PagerDuty part, but into Opsgenie as a part of what Opsgenie does. ServiceNow to JSM. And since each of those provide more capabilities than where they came from, they can transform how they work. If I look at a real example, one of Atlassian's newest products, Jira Product Discovery, was transitioned to away from Product Board. Zell's Healthcare didn't find that it quite met their needs. Product Board was a separate application, and it wasn't tightly bound to where the delivery teams were actually doing that. Now with Product Board, their ideation, or with Jira Product Discovery, their ideation can occurs in a tool that's made just for the job, but then it allows them to just very quickly hand it off to delivery teams for development and testing and feedback, and the friction gets removed from that effort and nothing gets dropped. And even at that, like you consider things that you didn't have before, it's a simple feature for creative fields, and it lets them have enhanced insights and data-driven decision-making capabilities. It's not just about managing the products, it's about innovating and optimizing how their products are developed and delivered. This is an example of what couldn't happen when we were in data center. We moved to the cloud where all of these extra tools become available that are tightly coupled. We get more successful and efficient outcomes. The other one that it's been a long time on, if you haven't heard of it or have been on some other planet, Roblox is a gaming company. Anybody with kids probably knows what that is. And with that, just the initial savings we had by moving to cloud and being able to shut off some of the other single purpose applications saved them over $150,000 annually. Even for a company as big as Roblox with their income, that's significant money. Now, a key factor in that transition was we had support from the leadership, we had support from the teams, and with very careful communication, sharing, mentoring, we got support from the actual user base as well. And it wasn't just a technological upgrade, in other words, moving it from here over to here. This was a carefully planned strategy. Everything we did was built with an eye to how it affected the overall strategy. Working closely with us and Atlassian as well, Roblox helped shape what their new world was going to look like, and every step was meticulously planned and aligned with their operational goals. Beyond a simple transition from data center to cloud, this effort became a self-feeding transformation. Improved functionality in the cloud spurred thoughts of how to evolve how work was done. Teams that had not embraced Atlassian tooling, seeing their coworkers having these shiny new tools doing fun things for them, said, I would like some of that, please, and asked for some net new stuff. Then the ones that were already there, seeing new functionality built out for them, evoked thoughts and requests from existing teams for new functionality for theirs. And it just continues to self-feed itself. Now, along with and we'll speak more to this in a minute here, but along with that executive support from the top, effective communication is crucial to this. We have to remember that the technological effort here is only a part of this, and the communication with the users and the leaders and everybody in the chain using all the manners possible as often as possible is critical to success. So where did they get to now? They're completely in the cloud, and they have a unified workflow platform, but more importantly, we've been able to flatten out the number of sources of truth. There's still several sources of information, but Atlassian Cloud largely became the source of truth for the entire organization. So these are big projects. They're not easy. they're tough. So part of that has to be change management. And you look at that and you start out with, nope, we don't need change management, to, yeah, okay, that's right, but we'll just get the PM to do it. And then the wheels fall off and it just ends in tears. So part of this, we have to make sure we have the change management, but this isn't something as the old generic change control board type of a meeting where only the principals are discussing things. Change control in this world becomes a collaborative process involving a wide range of interested parties, first discussing and working through what the change would be before we even get to the CCB. Everyone knows what's coming and had a hand in shaping it. Nobody's surprised. The CCB is actually the very last thing in the chain. As strange as it might seem, people start to become excited to have change come to them. But with change, we then have this thing called change fatigue, and it's a thing. Having lived it myself, we have to worry about that. And this occurs when employees are subjected to continuous and rapid change that are just too much all at once. That can lead to resistance, burnout, even decreased engagement. So when we look at that, we have to watch for this, but we also have to try to snub it. An analogy I like to use is another stressor we've all lived through, and that is moving house. So we look at the steps there, packing. That is awful, but we should try not to overthink it. Throw stuff in boxes without making too many decisions. Throw out the obvious junk and fix the stuff that, okay, we probably should have fixed that a long time ago. We're taking care of it now. Moving day, just get in there, unpack the obvious stuff with the boxes that make sense, and start to explore and live in your new home. Key, and this is what I do, and I'm maybe wrong, but don't stress about the boxes or the stuff you just don't know what to do with and might live in the garage for a while. And then moving day +1. Some things are obvious when you first move into your new house. Other things that you might think are a good idea, maybe you need to live in there a little bit because the new house is different than the old house. Functionally, it's identical. It's got a roof, it's got doors, it's got windows, it's got rooms, but it's different. So live with it for a while, and you might find that something you thought was a really good idea when you first moved in is vastly different when you finally decide to do something about it. And once we get in there and have settled into it for a while, we're going to get to that garage cleanup. None of us like it, but eventually we have to clean up that garage, and you're going to find those boxes with the weird stuff, and you're going to either go, this isn't a thing anymore, or, yeah, we should probably have another look at that. So where that analogy is with the packing and the prep, don't add undue stress. Just get that first hump over and done with. It's a wonderful idea to come into this beautiful, clean new site and keep it clean, but it doesn't really happen that way, and you're just going to make yourself sad. Moving day, that's a big deal. People are in this place they've been comfortable for a long time, and now they get to a new one. You don't need to add unnecessary stress by changing everything. And the analogy is, I've moved into the house. Now I'm trying to decide if I can remember where I packed the toothbrush or if I should just go get a new one. Make those choices quick and easy. And then on that moving day +1 matchup, use the tooling for a bit. Get comfortable and relaxed. Then think about how you're going to transform. And the garage cleanup, the best way I can marry that up in the analogy is, this is your tech debt. You had it when you moved. You may have made new tech debt during the move, but we're going to have to clean it up eventually. During all this, there are big upheavals, and yes, there will be times when a big change is done coincident with other efforts because it makes sense. But breaking the stressors into manageable chunks can help with that change fatigue. So to effectively manage change fatigue, the strategy involves, that phased and careful implementation of cloud technology. We think everything through and we communicate it. And we add comprehensive support and training. And then, of course, communications. To my mind, the most important block in this slide is communication. Talk to everybody a lot. Keep everybody involved. And this is not to minimize the other two blocks. The phasing of your approach with a strategy focused on the enterprise is key. Each discrete thing you'll do will overlap with the rest of the organization. Plan to minimize rework, thus minimizing change fatigue. Support and training is important, with support being the most important. Training is good. We've all gone through training, but where the rubber met the road was when I'm sitting there trying to do real things for real purposes, and that's when your humans need support. Take the time to hold their hand. It's an investment that pays back. So I'm going to speak a little bit to the long-term impact of ignoring change fatigue. You can tell people to suck it up, but if it's not addressed, it can cause substantial obstacles in the cloud adoption journey. You may find decreased employee morale, even if you have done it not well enough. Productivity can drop off. All these things that affect people through their day, if I'm adding stressors and friction, affect their doing their daily work. In the broader scheme, this can affect the organization's ability to innovate and stay competitive. Addressing change fatigue is not a strategic necessity, but a commitment to the well-being and growth of our employees. So if you're starting with your view now with being the lens of data center and its limitations, things are very, very different now. Cloud is where serious innovation to support more and more broader use cases start to present themselves. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Gordon to give Atlassian's view on where the fun new toys are coming from.
All right, thanks, Mike. So thanks, everyone. My name is Gordon Siegfried. I'm a senior solutions engineer at Atlassian, and the Modus team asked me if I could give a little update on where we're at with cloud at Atlassian, how we're seeing things, what the future looks like. So I'm going to take about 10 minutes here to give you a quick update. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about why we believe in cloud and why we believe cloud is generally better for most of our customers. So, just in general, we want you to allow Atlassian to be the experts on Atlassian infrastructure and let your own folks, especially those IT folks that might have been managing the infrastructure behind your data center or server installations of Jira and Confluence, let those experts focus in areas that make a difference to your customers and your stakeholders. There was a recent Forrester report saying that customers who went to cloud found a 10% increase in IT productivity after doing so. And even more importantly, they found a 20% increase in developer productivity as well, thanks to some of the changes in the cloud products that we've developed. And I'll get into some of those details in just a second. The other advantage with going to cloud, we do have some customers that say, hey, cloud is more expensive than data center. And that is true. But the reason for that is that we are then managing all of the hosting costs, as well as all of the management and infrastructure costs that go along with hosting a solution like that. And in that same Forrester report, we saw that on average, they found that customers going to cloud saw a 350% ROI within 12 months. So that's a big number, but I didn't make it up. That's from Forrester, a third party. So I'd encourage you to go read that report if you're interested. But those are kind of just some of the high-level reasons why we see cloud as being beneficial, both for Atlassian and for our customers. It allows us to serve you more directly. If something's wrong with your site, you know who to go to. If there's an outage, it's Atlassian's fault. It can't be blamed on your team or blamed on the hosting party or whatever it may be. There's sort of one place to go for support. So it kind of simplifies the relationship, and it allows us to give you that direct support that you need. Now, as far as the differences between our cloud products and our data center products, we have a lot of exciting things coming down the road. So the first thing I want to focus on is security and compliance. And actually, I'm not quite ready for this slide quite yet. I just want to talk a little bit about just kind of the general cloud infrastructure. So we have a few things coming down the line, and one of them is in beta. So I don't know if anyone here has heard of Beacon before, but Beacon is a new security offering that's being offered by Atlassian. It's like I said, it's currently in beta. Look for a larger announcement at our team conference in April. I can't say a whole lot more, but we're focused on bringing more security features to our cloud platform in a way that makes it easy for you to detect threats that are coming from outside of your organization, identify anomalies that might be coming down the line, help you investigate that unusual activity, do remediation to kind of fix it, as well as some more advanced audit logs. I don't think I will say much more than that, but there's going to be, I think, an exciting announcement at Team around security and compliance that I think you'll want to watch out for. That will it'll allow you to really have a very close eye on the activity on your cloud instances of your Atlassian products, and really allow you to be proactive about staying ahead of the threats that are all around us. Okay, so with that being said, I also want to just talk about some of the fun features that are out there, some of the features that your end users or the people using the products will actually see. So of course, in our cloud products, in our existing products, there are some major improvements in those products. So I'm talking about Jira and Confluence primarily, and Jira Service Management. The first one that I want to mention is being in cloud makes it a lot easier for you to support mobile users. So we have mobile apps, and those mobile apps can be technically connected to your data center instances, but it requires some, you have to jump through some hoops to make sure that your network is available to users that are on the go. Of course, if someone is using the Atlassian Cloud, it simplifies that experience quite a bit. Now, if you're using IP allow listing, it might still be difficult, but I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. But we do make it a lot simpler to get to your mobile users. The other thing is we've purchased some of the most popular data center apps, and we have now included them in some of our cloud products. So many of you might be familiar with Advanced Roadmaps. That has been renamed to Plans, but either way, that is included in Jira Premium now. Additionally, Automation for Jira, which was one of the most popular automation apps for Jira, it was purchased a while ago and it was available in Data Center. That is also included with Jira Premium. We also have a new feature in Confluence that was never available on Data Center. We have automation for Confluence as well. And then a few other things. We have a new editor in Confluence that includes smart links, which makes it really easy to embed information from other systems inside and outside of Atlassian in your Confluence pages. We also have a couple of beta features in Confluence. Confluence whiteboards, where you can collaborate and basically make a nice picture collaboratively with your coworkers. That is in beta and coming to GA soon. Same thing with Confluence databases. So if you want to have sort of a single source of truth inside of Confluence, you can use Confluence databases to keep everything in one place. Okay, so that was a quick rundown of improvements to existing products. And again, all of those improvements are cloud only. Our general stance on this is that anything that we put into cloud could eventually make it into our data center products if there is a compelling reason to do so. But my personal stance on it is don't count on it. Our general stance is we're innovating in cloud, and data center, we're just doing as much as we need to kind of keep those customers happy, frankly. And then with that in mind, we also have some new products that have been released over the past year that also are cloud only. And so that's where I want to get into these next few slides, if we can advance here. I don't know if we split these. Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you, Mana. So first I want to talk about Jira Product Discovery. So Jira software has been the kind of preferred choice for software developers for years and years. What we hadn't really been serving as a company before was the product managers themselves and the people who design those products that eventually need to be delivered by those engineers. And we saw some product managers using the Jira backlog for new ideas that might eventually make it into the product. But that's really not what Jira software is designed for, and it became confusing for all parties involved. So we saw most of those people either moving over into spreadsheets, but perhaps, or maybe a different third-party tool. But ultimately, we knew that at Atlassian, this was a gap for us. So we have a brand new product. It went GA last year at Team, so last April. and it's called Jira Product Discovery. The whole idea here is we want to help you foster new ideas within product teams. It helps you to kind of build up those ideas, elaborate on them, get them to a point of maturity where you're ready to put it into your Jira backlog and hand it off to the engineering team. Over the time that it's in Jira Product Discovery, we have tools that will allow you to prioritize those issues. You can do a little bit of high-level estimation about how difficult it will be to build in those features, as well as how impactful it will be to those customers. And you can kind of put it into a nice scatter chart that allows you to kind of compare those features against each other and help prioritize things. This is also a tool that can help you build a high-level roadmap for your company that you could eventually use to power a public-facing roadmap. So that's product number one that I'm very excited about. We've been getting some good traction with that product, and there's obviously more to come. As I said, it came out in April, so there's still a lot of innovation happening there. Okay, next topic, Compass, another new product. This one went GA actually just this past fall, so it's even newer. Compass is our developer experience tool. The short version of this one is basically that software development has gotten a lot more complex as far as management over the past 20 years or so. It used to be that you could build out some code, ship it, and be done with it. More in the modern world, we're seeing more and more that the people who build the product and write the code are also more and more they're responsible for maintaining and supporting that product as well, because these tend to be cloud products, software as a service products, where it's not a set it and forget it situation. And when something goes wrong, you really need those experts who built the product to help fix any issues that may come up. And so we're looking for much more than just a code base that you can store in GitHub now. We have all kinds of different services and maybe machine learning models, all kinds of different elements that make up a web application in the modern world today. And it can be confusing to understand which elements of your application depend on other elements, and which other elements depend on the one that we're working on. And so you can kind of visualize all of this in Compass. Compass becomes your component library where you can keep everything in one place. It's a place where all of your developers can communicate with each other and find what they need easily. You can identify which teams own which components, and you can also create scorecards, which will identify the health of those components automatically using webhooks. And you can hook into your Git repositories, that sort of thing. So you can identify how often you're deploying the library, different types of changes in the library. You can also identify vulnerabilities in underlying libraries that you might be dependent on that might be open source or somehow public facing. So again, there's a lot there. I don't have time to go any deeper on Compass, but that's another exciting new product that just came to market in the fall. All right, next one. Okay, Atlassian Intelligence. This one actually probably fits into the bucket of improving our existing products for the most part. So, as if anyone went to Team last year, you probably saw the keynote presentation about Atlassian Intelligence. That was kind of a surprise to most of us at Atlassian. I didn't know anything about it before Team, but we've reached a point where we're in beta, and it's an public opt-in beta now, where you can try out all of these features if you're using any Atlassian Cloud products. It's the usage is unlimited for our premium and above users. That unlimited usage could become limited in the future, just as a caveat there. But for now, we want everyone using it. We want to gather data about how people use it. We want you to tell us what we can do better. But our Atlassian Intelligence features are kind of scattered around all of our existing products. Some of the highlights are the Jira Service Management Virtual Agent. I think that's probably the most impressive. Essentially, you can set up a Slack integration where someone can interact with a chatbot and get answers right away. So the chatbot will try to give you answers based on, it will try to categorize the question into a predefined intent, and you can then build out the answers that you want the bot to give based on that intent. It will also go through your JSM knowledge base to try to come up with a generative AI answer based on the knowledge base. And if none of that works, the user can always click a button to open a ticket with a human as well. So I think that's been implemented really nicely. We also have some good Confluence features that will help you define terms in Confluence. So if you're using a lot of acronyms, it will automatically try to define those based on other information inside Confluence. There's also a Confluence search feature. There are Confluence generative AI features that come from OpenAI, so kind of ChatGPT type features. The huge thing with any of the ChatGPT integrations in our products is that they're all covered under our privacy policy. So if you were to go on your own to ChatGPT directly, they can use any information that you put in there to train their models. And so you really don't want to use any sensitive company information directly with OpenAI. If you do it through our products, your data is protected and none of it will be stored either by Atlassian or by OpenAI. Okay, there's plenty more to say about Atlassian Intelligence, but I think I need to move on to the last topic here, which is Atlassian Analytics. So this is a feature that will allow you to visualize your data and report that data to your executives and your stakeholders in a really streamlined way. So I'm sure most of you have seen the Jira product dashboards that are inside of those products. They're kind of outdated. And the biggest thing with those dashboards is that they are limited. They're limited in scope to only the current Jira project that you're looking at. So you're kind of looking at a blinded view of that data. Some of it's useful, but it's more of a team by team, project by project type of visualization. And those charts are also not very configurable. Atlassian Analytics is a lightweight BI tool that will allow you to build out exactly what you need based on all of the data from your Atlassian organization. And you can include this data in Confluence. You can set it up as an email newsletter. So you're just attaching this dashboard as a PDF. So it's a very flexible tool that really makes it really easy for you to share information with the people who need it. And that is included with any of our enterprise subscriptions. So I think that's it for me. I probably went over time, but hopefully that was helpful.
Thanks, Gordon. Really appreciate it. All right, as we wrap up, let's take a step back and appreciate the big picture. Moving to Atlassian's cloud solutions is more than just a migration or upgrade. It's a strategic choice for a future-ready business. We are not just swapping out tools here. We're embracing a transformation. Atlassian's cutting-edge features, like we just saw, are reshaping how we work. This shift is not just an improvement. It's a game changer, ushering us into an era of efficient and smart business operations. So now let's talk about Modus Create, and I'll keep it short. We're not just adopting cloud solutions. We're at the forefront. We're leading the way in innovation, reliability, and have a solid commitment to compliance. With us, your move to cloud is secure, meeting the toughest industry standards and ensuring that your operations are both smooth and compliant. Our strategy and digital technology integration focuses on harmonizing your tech landscape. It's all about making things simpler and more efficient and empowering your teams with self-service capabilities. This approach aims to streamline your processes and enhance organizational agility. In the realm of continuous improvement, we're all about boosting collaboration, ramping up efficiency, and leveraging automation. What's our goal? To streamline your workflows, cut down those tedious manual tasks, and give your team space to focus on what really matters, the bigger picture, your strategic moves. When it comes to making decisions, we're really big on data. We align our goals with OKRs, value transparency in operations, and maintain high standards. This approach ensures that your decisions are not just good, but are backed by solid data and best practices. And now bringing it all together, finally, at Modus Create, we tailor our solutions to fit your unique needs. Whether it's cloud adoption, digital technology integration, continuous improvement, or data-driven decision-making, I still can't say that, we've got you covered. Partnering with us is the first step on your journey to digital excellence, setting the stage for ongoing growth and innovation. Now that we've covered the essentials, I'll hand it back over to Manon, who has some fantastic resources to help you get started on this journey.
Thanks, Caroline. So yes, just before addressing your questions, I'd like to mention that we have prepared some resources for you, covering everything from your current system cleanup to migration checklist, communication templates, and the tool for effective change management. So we'll be sending these resources directly to your email shortly, so just make sure to check your inbox. And now let's move on to the Q&A. So I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay, so we have a few questions in the Q&A box, but feel free to send yours as well. I can see that Gordon already replied to a question around Beacon and JPD and combat pricing. So thank you, Gordon. We have another one asking which new features were the most impactful for Zelis and Roblox? Who wants
Mike,
to take
you
it?
want to answer Roblox?
Yeah, could you repeat your question again,
Yeah, which new features were the most impactful for Zelis and Roblox?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. All of them. So as I mentioned when I was talking earlier, when you come into this with your lens to what Atlassian looks like being Jira and Confluence data center, the world is very, very different now. And we get them in there, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of tools that satisfied some things that an itch they couldn't scratch. Gordon mentioned Beacon. The security kids are going bonkers over top of that one. They just love it. Analytics, being able to, and especially in Roblox, which is farther down the path than Zealous is, analytics, where I've got a single source of truth that I can just query what's going on in the entire organization. You don't have to force people to all run in the same workflow or all run with the same fields. There's some broader things that are available when I'm querying the back end. But even if I step back, where we used to have to add apps to make links to external stuff pleasant. Gordon mentioned smart links. It's almost magic to drop a URL in for a Google Doc in a Confluence and it shows up. And how do I want that to appear? Do I want to embed it? Do I want to put a real link? Do I want to put an icon? And it's fast and easy. And the one that, just a simple one from Smart Links that flattens people when they see it the first time, I take a URL from a JQL search in Jira, paste it in Confluence, and presto changeo, it's a Jira query inside of Confluence. In all of these cases, and it was touched on a little bit in our monthly meetings with our Atlassian customer success manager, every month, just because the tools had less friction, we built less friction, we kept moving forward. We saw adoption pick up because more users started getting in there. And even just the engagement of existing ones went up every month. That told us that people are using that tooling to help them through their day. It wasn't because they were mandated. Yeah, there's places where they're mandated, but people were doing that to help them through their day. I find every time I come into a new effort where we're migrating away from data center and being used to cloud, the entire platform now, every time I land in a data center environment, I feel constricted.
Ooh, let us know if that answers your questions. We're almost at time, but we have a few more questions. We have a hard one. Jira Cloud has outages occasionally. So how do I ensure that my data is safe and available in the cloud?
Good question. So we have a long security. We have several security pages on our websites that explain our security practices. There is obviously risk to putting anything in the cloud. I would argue that there's also risk to hosting it yourself. So, if you feel that your teams that you're working with are better at security than we are, that I can understand that definitely. And we do have some customers, if you're for example, if you require FedRAMP or something, we're not quite there yet. We are on track right now to release FedRAMP moderate compliance next year, I think early 2025. So, there are situations where it is safer to be on data center. And obviously, you've got to have your own best practices that you follow there. But, Atlassian, we have basically staked our company on reliability and safety of our cloud. So we have, large teams of people working on it. And I can send you some links that kind of detail our practices around that. But yeah, I guess I'm not a security expert myself, so I'm not going to try to go into the specifics here, but I can point you in the right direction.
And just to follow on what Gordon said, I want to point out that it's newsworthy when Atlassian has an issue. It shows up in the news because it happens so infrequently and it's such a big deal. So keep that in mind.
Thanks. I think we have time for one last question. So I think it was Mike. In your slides, you mentioned strong leadership support as key to success. So how can we get stronger support from our leadership?
One would hope when you look at the leadership that they can see the benefits of rolling up what they're paying for separately all into one bill. And that all companies put out a lot of marketing stuff, but starting to understand that Atlassian, when they put out marketing collateral, they mean what they say, that things are better. In some cases, you've got an okay to do something, if not full-throated support. And what I found in cases like that is you take the if you build it, they will come approach. Surprise and delight them with the work we're doing. And they go, oh my goodness, that's great. And that in itself becomes self-feeding. And I've had cases where the leadership support was, yes, okay, go ahead and do it. It makes sense from a financial basis, but they did not care about anything else. As they started to see the improvements that showed up, that's when the support got to, yeah, this is big. And then they started to not just mandate, but strongly recommend that anybody that wasn't in there, and this isn't just engineering teams, this is all the teams across the organization, get rolled into the Atlassian stack.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. Looks like we covered all of your questions. So thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope you found this webinar useful and insightful, and we'll see you soon.